Okay, good luck with the slow descent into madness.
If you can keep up and you don't mind dying, come along.
Dance off, bro. Me and you.
You know what? There's something just extremely uncomfortable about a man your size sniffing a flower.
We're gonna need a new plan.
I'll give you anything you ask for. As long as it's not something I don't want to get.
Get off my bridge.
It's the Al Travis Show, and every couple of weeks we like to get Seth in here. Seth on hockey catches up with what's going on, and actually we've got some pretty good news here in the state of Minnesota. It's kind of fun. For folks who don't know, Seth does the in-house, in-stadium announcing for the Mavericks hockey team. Sir, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, Al. How's it going?
It's good. Again, we've talked. Hockey, I really enjoy it live. Been to a lot of Mav games. I really love it live. TV, it doesn't do as much for me. Might be old eyes following pucks, keeping the cameraman. I don't know. But with the way things are shaping up in the sports world in Minnesota, I think I'm diving big time on the Wild bandwagon. Yeah. They seem to be the thing to cheer for.
Well, and they're starting to pick it up after a slow start to the season. 7-1-1 in their last 9.
Yeah.
In that span, they have allowed the fewest goals in the NHL. Wow. And we knew that coming in, that it was going to be a defense and a goaltending type team that was going to have to be opportunistic with their scoring.
Before you jump in here, because I got to throw in the little stuff that I do know, you say that because we've always been that's our goalies have been our thing for the last 4 years. But we don't have the old Hall of Famer guy. His name's escaping me now. We have this young Buck kid who's got about 2 games under his belt before he came to this season. So were you thinking that, honestly, it'll still be all about the goaltending? When were you? Come on.
Yeah, because you've got Philip Gustafson as the lead guy. He's been one of the probably top 10 goalies in the league for the last few years. So expected he was going to be good again this year. Didn't really know what to expect from Jesper though. It was more about just getting him reps, getting him starts. But so far the early returns, back-to-back shutouts. He's enthusiastic and excited after every game. He has really become kind of a rally point for fans. Like just watching him every time he starts, and you're bound to see something exciting.
Well, he gives us a shot every time they win, like you say, 7-1-1. But my negativity comes in here because I've been a Minnesota sports fan for a long time. Like a quarterback, now that you and I do a lot of football, JJ, right? We know how much a quarterback means to a football team. I will tell you that is as important, maybe more in hockey. You go as your goalie goes. Is that true? Don't shake your head. It's radio on me. Yes?
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. And yeah, both guys are playing well right now. At some point, they're not going to be playing this well. So it brings us back to this issue that's been at the forefront for the last few years, is at some point, the scoring's going to have to step up. They're pretty much average during this span. They're going to have to find a way to pick it up a little bit.
Well, and that's where I was going with this. You have the lowest scores against, for 9 games. That's wonderful. Yeah. But at some point, you'd like to have the most scores scored for 9 games, and now we got something going on. Do you see any of that life in this squad? We've had 2 superstars really on that side. Do you see it coming? Is it they're just kind of getting the groove on?
It's kind of the same.
You're saying no. Your face says no.
It's the same 3 guys that's been all season. It's Kirill, it's Matt Boldy, and it's Marcus Johansson. Beyond that, it's a coin flip. Like you're feeling great, I think, if you get somebody else to contribute a goal on a nightly basis, but that hasn't been consistent either.
Does some of this become coaching and the plays that they're calling? And again, back to football. You can call a lot of stupid plays as a coach. What are you doing this? And we can always second guess. I don't know how to second guess hockey plays, but I presume there's a coach for a reason. Are some of this that?
Some of it's that. It's also the roster construction. We go back to how Bill Guerin has built this team back to the 2021-2022 season where they scored a quadrillion goals. Basically every year since, he said, well, we just have to replicate that. But it turns out the guys that he has locked in were not those types of players. It was just kind of an anomaly year for them.
Gotcha. So, talk me through this. We have now, and this is what I understand. Where did they go? What did I push? Push wrong button. We're looking at the Wild. They've had a 3-game winning streak. So this is the longest winning streak, except for Colorado, in the league. How do we match up against Colorado? I mean, is it night and day difference? I want to go down the list. Who are you telling me are the teams to watch? Colorado, obviously, right?
Yeah, Colorado, one regulation loss all season so far. So
Wow.
they are outstanding. They're getting incredible goaltending from their backup goalie at this point.
Okay.
So, that's been a revelation for them. They got one of the best players in the league, probably two of the best players in the league, Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar. So you got to be able to either keep up with that type of scoring, which the Wilds, outside of Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Boldy, do not have. So you got to try to slow them down. And I feel like as the league becomes more centered on scoring, it becomes more of a tricky proposition to be like the contrarian team, like being the one team that's like, yeah, we're going to slow everybody down. At some point, you gotta pick your speed up too.
Okay, fair enough. Let me ask you this because I'm looking at the standings. So it's Colorado and then Dallas. You are 4 points behind. And then it is the Jets, the Blackhawks, and the Wild. We're literally put in whatever that is, 5th place. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th place. But we have the same number of points as Chicago. We have the same number of points as the Jets. Is this just the next tiebreaker thing? We're one more win away, and we'd be in 3rd place in the Central?
Yeah, as far as the tiebreakers go, it comes down to regulation wins is the first tiebreaker to use. The Wild have played a handful of overtime games this year, so they get dropped down in the standings for that. I think the fact that this team is tied for points for 3rd place is impressive considering how they started.
Yeah.
But you just wonder, with this being mostly the same team as the last couple of years, are we going to see the same thing, or is this going to be finally the year that things start to change?
Well, and I don't want to, it's amazing how quick the season goes because it had here 2 weeks ago. But we're 21 games in. You're a quarter of the way through the season. So this is now, we're not just a slow start. This is trends now, right? We know good teams and bad. So tell me who, and even if you want to go to the East Conference, who are those? Colorado obviously is a very good team. Who is it that's trending right and who's not?
So you look at Colorado; they continue to pace the league, and it's funny because we've seen some pedestrian starts from some of the guys you'd expect, some of the teams you'd expect to be good. Anaheim is the big surprise of the season so far.
Really,
a Ducks team that has been super young and super inconsistent. They have the old Blackhawks head coach Joe Quenneville leading the way, and he has instilled some winning pedigree for them. So they're pacing the Pacific at this point. They're the big surprise. A lot of the names you'd expect. The Tampa Bay Lightning are one of the teams that just continues to find ways to get it done every year. Pittsburgh, they had a hot start. They've kind of tailed off, but I never bet against Sidney Crosby. And Anaheim, Vegas, Colorado, Dallas are probably the 4 at this point out of the West. Carolina, Detroit off to a good start in the Eastern Conference. That's a little bit of a surprise. Beyond that, it's a lot of mainstays, and it's a lot of teams you look at like Florida, and you're just waiting for them to kind of kick it into gear once they get healthy. As they say, by Thanksgiving, if you're in a playoff spot, you have high odds of being in it at the end of the year. So that's the thing to shoot for. What
are your thoughts on, if I can, because New York Rangers, the only other club I really hit, Senator Housley's husband was the coach there. They went a different way, but they really went a different way, didn't they? I mean, if I'm watching New York, it's like, this is a bad club.
Well, and they're 1-7-1 at home.
Sell tickets.
Yeah, it baffles my mind, Al, that teams just are so bad at home. You'd think you'd want to defend home ice above all else, but they can't really score is their big problem.
Yeah. All right, I appreciate you catching us up on the National Hockey League. After the break, can we talk what's going on with the college?
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. We got a Seth on hockey on the Al Travis Show.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck, because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
Tired of one-sided media and divisive noise drowning out your conservative values? Take back the conversation with Braver Angels. Join a grassroots movement to restore civility and find common ground without compromising your principles. As a conservative, your voice matters. Share your perspective on issues like immigration and public health in Red Blue workshops and help rebuild trust in our great nation. Be a leader in depolarizing America. Sign up for free at mn.braverangels.org. Braver Angels, where conservatives, liberals, and independents unite for a stronger republic.
Easily offended? The Al Travis Show is not for you. The Al Travis Show. All sides are welcome.
Lucky to have him in here. Seth on hockey. Seth, let's talk some college hockey, because of course we're in the state of college hockey. They used to, was it the Penny Kewak poll or something back in the day?
The Pairwise.
Pairwise, there you go. Well, that seems to have fallen off. Now they have the USCHO ranking. So coaches are betting on this, or is it guys like you that watch the games enough?
There's a point system that they use quite a bit, and then I believe it's media that do rankings for the teams.
When I look at the list, the rankings for the men's thing, a couple things stick out to me. First off, a couple of years back when we were kind of following this pretty darn close, just about all the Minnesota teams were ranked, at least in the top 20. Minnesota Duluth is at 4. Nope, not crying about that. Minnesota State, the Mavs are at 14. Decisively missing St. Cloud, University of Minnesota, North Dakota. What am I? Oh, there's North Dakota. Never mind. And Bemidji State. Now, is it just pretty early yet, and you'll see a big change here? Have some of these programs fallen? University of Minnesota not on the list?
Yeah,
really?
I think the big shock is the season that the Gophers have had so far. I know they've dealt with some injuries, but that only tells part of the story. You just look at the series that they've had, and they're splitting, they're losing games like 6-5. It's just they're just not as sharp as they've been in previous seasons. And as a Husky alum, I will always go to bat for Bob Motzko, but I kind of wonder if they just are in need of a a talent injection. It just seems like a team that has just gotten off to a rough start.
All right, that's fair enough. Let's go down some of this. I don't want to hit everyone. But Michigan State, as I understand it, 100% first place was. Everybody said, yep, you're the guys. They're that much better than everybody else? I mean, this is a no-brainer?
Yeah, and they have a Minnesota Wild prospect helping lead the way in Charlie Stramel, and he's a big center. He's off to a great start. He's got 5 goals in 10 games. They are for real.
All right, fair enough. Then you got Michigan and Denver. Anything there that hits you? I would like to talk Minnesota Duluth. I don't want to run out of time. Minnesota Duluth.
Yeah, Minnesota Duluth. It's been a surprise to see them up this high, but they just continue to rack up wins, and I got to say they're probably of the Minnesota teams so far this year. They got to be the biggest surprise.
Oh, really? You didn't see this coming? Okay, fair enough.
I expected they'd probably be on the back half at the start of the season, but being up towards 4 is definitely doing something right.
Now, North Dakota, the Fighting, they're not whatever they are now.
Hawks, I think.
The Hawks. Okay, fine. Okay, whatever. They're always up there. They're always playing. We play a lot of them. We like North Dakota.
Yeah, they're a perennial power, as I like to say, and they're just continuing to do North Dakota things at the top of the rankings.
Fair enough. Now, I like whenever Minnesota State's in the rankings, the top 15, no shame in that. You're going to play some decent teams coming up. They have every right to move up, right? What are your thoughts on Minnesota State?
Oh, yeah. I talked to Matt Dean earlier this week, the voice of the Mavericks, and he mentioned when they played Lake Superior State, they had no healthy scratch skaters. They have had so many injuries so far this year, and it's just a matter of them getting guys back. And the defense has started to really round into the form that they had last year. Alex Tracy will always keep them in games. So once they start to get pieces back in that lineup, they had 2 really good wins against Lake Superior State last weekend. If they can play Michigan Tech close this weekend, maybe split or maybe win both those games outright, that's going to vault them up to the top of the conference standings, but that'll bump them up in the rankings as well.
Fair enough. And home crowd still as crazy as always. That's where I got my start going to those games with the Mavs. Still sold out. Everybody's coming and rocking it.
Raucous is the word I would use.
Fair enough. Let's talk some St. Cloud State. They did get votes, 6 of them. I presume most of the papers that were from St. Cloud. Sorry, that's me. But they did get 6. Any thoughts on St. Cloud and whether they can climb?
It's interesting because I think St. Cloud State is kind of suffering from just what's going on with the university in general. Like the numbers just continue to decline. Yeah. And I kind of wonder if you are a hockey player and you're being recruited by St. Cloud State, how much are the other Minnesota schools getting involved? Like, is a Mankato getting involved? Yeah. Because, if a Mankato or a Duluth are getting involved in that process, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to maybe steer that way as opposed to going to St. Cloud State. It's just so I think the transfer portal and I think just, how much of these other Minnesota teams have kind of stepped up. I think it's just kind of hit them in the recruiting angle.
Fair enough. And Bemidji State is in the same ballpark. Bemidji State, every now and again, you'll see them somehow have a year or two where they're right there. But then they also rans in the league, right?
Yeah, they had a horrendous year, I think, 2 years ago, and they have just slowly built their way back up. I will say if the Mavericks get all the points this weekend, they will actually vault to the top of the standings. So, they're within striking distance, which is exactly what you want to be.
And give me the transfer portal. I mean, we all understand it when it comes to football, and we get it with basketball because it changes teams so much. Maybe it just doesn't make the paper enough for me to notice. Is there a lot of transfer in hockey? Or are you into the program? You're into the program. It seems a little more like wrestling. I'm on the team.
There were a handful of transfers from the Mavericks this offseason. It comes down to opportunity. If you are playing, in a bottom 6 role for somebody and a top opportunity is presented from somebody else, you're going to go present that because there are no repercussions for transferring now. You used to be able to sit out for a full year. Now you can just go play.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, sir, I am out of time, but I can't thank you enough for coming on and catching us up and staying involved and letting us know what's going on. I appreciate you being here, my friend.
Hey, my pleasure. Happy to hop on anytime.
All right. Have yourself a happy Thanksgiving. Seth on hockey on the Al Travis Show.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you